What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to do a comparison of the Unique Toys Buzzing with the Fans Toys Jabber, both versions of a Masterpiece Blur. So I've been wanting to do this comparison for a while. I couldn't get a hold of this Blur, and thank you for Michael Rogers sent this to me. Appreciate that very much. So as I always say with these reviews, I try to be as objective as possible with the categories I pick. But of course, if I pick the one that you don't like, or I choose one in one category and you like the other, then you win. I really do this to help people decide for themselves which way they want to go or which figure they want to actually buy. So with that being said, let's get into this review. I do know that Bobby Skullface has already done this comparison. That was told to me last time. I still want to do it. I still enjoy making these videos. I also enjoy hearing your feedback on these videos, positive and negative. Every time I do this, I get positive and negative, and that's fine. As long as people are watching and liking and, you know, it's creating conversation, then I'm happy. And that's really what I want to do, is help you guys figure out what you want and also create some conversation. With that being said, let's get started. We'll start off with accessories. So here are the accessories they both come with. Obviously, they both come with a collector's card, so we're not going to show that here, but they both come with a Target Master. They both transform into guns, obviously. Obviously, very different styling and look on these, but you get one for each. They both come with a gun that kind of looks like this. Slightly different styles. The Fans Toys is fully painted, whereas the Unique Toys just painted on the edge, on the tip. The Unique Toys comes with this Matrix style accessory from that one episode. The Fans Toys come with this extra face, which I really like, so we'll call that even. And you're left with an extra gun for Fans Toys. We're going to give accessories to Fans Toys. All right, next we're going to talk about the cartoon accuracy. In order to do that, we'll put the G1 image here so you can take a look at that. And for me, it comes down to Fans Toys really went after the cartoon as much as they could. The Unique Toys really was doing kind of a blend, and you can see that they stylized a little bit, especially with some of the paint colors like the blue here, the yellow here and here, some of the little accents and details like the little silver here. So there's just little spots where they did a little extra, and while I like that and appreciate it, it's just not accurate to the cartoon. Same for the back. Although Fans Toys does have some messiness on the back. So I'm going to give cartoon accuracy to Fans Toys. I just think they nail the cartoon a lot closer. Next, we're going to talk about the sculpt. So Fans Toys has been going with these very smooth, cartoon looking sculpts. And this guy is no exception. He has, very little sculpt on the front. There's a little bit of detail here and there, but overall, extremely clean, which is the direction of Takara. The Unique Toys has lots of little sculpted details, and then they painted those details, and it really stands out. So like these things on the arms, the crotch plate here, the knees, on the sides of the legs, on the back, which does end up showing up in the vehicle mode. On the back of this, there's all that sculpt work, and the little lights and the details. There's so much little details and sculpt work. Even the head itself has got little sculpt work and details on it that I think looks so good, and then the paint kind of highlights that sculpt work. So I'm going to give sculpt over to Unique Toys. Next, we're going to talk about the paint, and this is the interesting one. So let's start with Unique Toys. So Unique Toys painted all the details, but the rest is not painted. So anything you see here, this metallic blue, the silvers, the yellows, these darker metallic blues here, the details here, the white here, the head and face are painted, the blues up here, and then the blues on this, and then on the back here, all these silvers you see are painted. But the rest you see, the lighter blue and the darker blue on the legs is unpainted. On the Fans Toys, you've got the head is basically fully painted. The arms are painted here on the boosters, and then here on this lighter blue. The rest of the other lighter blue is darker blue is painted, or I guess purple. But then this lighter blue is not painted. Same for the chest on this one. This is fully painted here. The purple is painted in the middle, and then the purple on the legs is painted. I believe this is just a plastic. So it's a gray plastic, but this is actually the painted part. And then the feet are painted die cast. So you do have just ever so slightly more paint on the Fans toys because from the thigh down to the knee is fully painted, whereas on the Unique toys, it's just these knee accent pieces here. They do have these little yellow accents, which I think stand out, but overall, just complete amount of paint and the look of the paint. I do like the metallic and I think it stands out a little bit better. So I'm going to give paint over to Fans toys. Next, we're going to talk about the build quality on these figures. And this is an interesting one because while there is quite a bit of die cast in the Fans toys, especially down here in the legs and the feet, these feet are die cast. There's die cast inside of these legs. There's die cast hardware here. There's die cast in the upper body. You can see the die cast actually. There is quite a bit of die cast. Unfortunately, this figure suffers from issues, and it's right here, these pieces here. When you go into vehicle mode, we'll talk about that when we get to transformation, they actually break. They tend to break. Now, I know there's some people that have never broken it. I've broken mine. Pig for Life has broken his. T-Man, I believe, broke it, but then he was able to fix it or at least stress the plastic. So there's definitely a design issue there. We'll talk to that a little bit more when we get to transformation. But as far as the quality, I think it feels really nice. But because of those breakages, I can't give them the point for build quality. There's also some issues where things tend to loosen over time. So one of the things is they use screws for their joints, and some of those screws loosen. So the arm is one of those places. I've already tightened the screws, but the arm is one of those places where things loosen up. Now he does have some really nice ratchets. He's got some really nice hardware, but I can't give a point to a figure that breaks. And unfortunately, this one is one of very few, very rare Fans Toys figures to break. The Unique toys I've transformed several times for the prior review, plus this comparison here, and so far no issues whatsoever. Again, it's not my figure, so I do want to be careful, but there isn't anything that I feel that would break on this. Pretty robust, solid plastic. I don't feel like it's going to fall or break anywhere. So we're going to give build quality to Unique toys. All right, next we're going to talk about the articulation on both these figures. In order to do that, we're going to articulate each one of them all the way through. So the Unique toys head is on a rotating swivel, so it goes down to there, up to there, rotates all the way around. No side to side movement on the head. The shoulder rotates all the way around. He goes up to there, pretty far on that joint. Rotation at the elbow, nice and tight. Double jointed elbow gets you up to there. You have a rotation here on there, but that's really meant for transformation. It doesn't really add much. You can't do that. Rotation at the waist. Oh, you do have a single pin for the hand, but the pointer finger moves separately, so you have a little bit more articulation on this arm and the fingers. Rotation at the waist. No ab crunch. Hip skirt goes up and the leg goes up to there on a soft ratchet, back to there on a soft ratchet, out to the side on a hard ratchet, and you can't get it all the way up to there. Rotation at the thigh. Double jointed knee gets you well past 90 degrees. Rotation at the upper knee, really meant for transformation again, but you can use it. Ankle tilt, more this direction than anything, not much that way. And tilt forward, but not much back. So the Fans toys, moving on to the Fans toys, the head is on a ball joint, so you get down to there, up to there, rotates all the way around, and a side to side, so you get a lot more expression out of the head, so more articulation there. Your rotation at the shoulder goes up to there, a little bit hindered. You can rotate at that joint to get a little bit more, but a little bit, tiny bit more hindered than the Unique toys. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend, rotation at the wrist, and then single pinned hand. Rotation at the waist, this time it's ratcheted, so you get a little bit of hardware in there. If you lift up the hip skirt, I don't really like the fact that it's a single hip skirt. You can get up to here without lifting it, and then you can lift it the rest of the way, and you get up to there, back to there. Hindered by this, but if you move this out of the way, you can get it all the way back up. And then out to the side on friction. You do have a rotation at the thigh. Double jointed knee gets you the full bend. Ankle tilt up to there, forward, and just ever so slightly back. You have to kind of put the heel spur in if you want to go full back, but you can't do that. So overall, pretty even on articulation. Fans Toys has a little bit more in the head, whereas the Unique Toys are a little bit more in these arms. Legs are about even. So we're going to call this a tie on articulation. Now we're going to talk about the transformation engineering. And it comes to transformation, it's pretty obvious just by looking at the transformation. I'm not going to show it here, it just takes too much time, that the Fans Toys transformation is way more complex. A lot of it has to do with these legs. You can see there's tons of parts in there. This is also where the breakage occurs because there's some parts that are on pin joints and it has to rotate a certain way and it's got to put pressure on it. And I have broken mine and there's several other people that have broken theirs. And because of that, I believe the transformation, Unique Toys is just much more fun, intuitive, and just overall better. So we're going to give transformation over to Unique Toys. When it comes to engineering, I think Fans Toys has engineered their figures in a way where both modes look amazing, but yet there's very little to no stuff hanging out. Now, to be fair, Unique Toys has really nothing, no kibble whatsoever, extremely clean. But it isn't as accurate in both modes. It tends to take a little bit of liberty, a little bit of style, whereas Fans Toys is just hits the nails the cartoon in both modes. So I'm going to give engineering over to Fans Toys. I think they just engineer and they use really good hardware in their figures. So engineering for Fans Toys. And there we have them in their vehicle modes. And we'll put the G1 cartoon image there so you can take a look at that. And very different approaches to a Blur vehicle. Both look really nice. Here's the side. Pretty clean overall. Here's the back. The Unique Toys took a very unique approach to the back here. They do have the boosters here, but back here, this part is just kind of its own thing. But all in all, pretty good looking. I do like that there's a seat big enough to put some people in. You can't put the Target Master, he doesn't quite fit in there, but you can put, for example, Daniel. Spike and Daniel could fit in there. I don't think they'll fit, yeah, they won't fit in the Fans Toys. So that's a cool little feature. But taking a look at the cartoon, I definitely feel Fans Toys nailed this vehicle mode. They also made it with the hovering kind of feature because you've got the legs down here, and so you can set it down and it looks like it's hovering, which is cool. This one is more just flat to the ground. They do it as a general shape, but then it goes really wide with the vehicle mode, and I think that's what makes it kind of not look like the G1 Blur. You know, if we had just up to here, I think it might look a little better. All in all, still a good looking vehicle, but I think because it's just so far off, I'm going to give the alt mode to Fans Toys. The final factor here is the cost on these two. Now, just a little commentary here on my last comparison versus review. I got a comment that, hey, instead of doing cost, why don't you look at the value of these figures? You know, what value are you getting? And I thought about that, and I was trying to figure out what kind of formula could I use to see the value. I did think about taking the retail price and then showing what is the current aftermarket price. But aftermarket prices fluctuate up and down and they swing so wildly depending on what site you look at, whether you're on Facebook groups or eBay or whatever site. So unfortunately, it's just going to be too subjective and too difficult to measure value. So I am going to stick with my original, which is the retail price from American US Retail. So I use the prices from Toy Dojo. And this is kind of surprising, but they're both the exact same price at release, $105 each at the original retail price. So we're going to give a tie for cost. So final thoughts on this comparison. You can see this final score there. Fans Toys is going to take it. And I really thought this was going to be more of a blowout, but Unique Toys has a really lot of good things about it. And one of the things that you might want to use or have this figure for is if you like more stylized type of figures for your collection, maybe even like a more of a Studio Ox or just slightly variations in your collection, then this is going to be the one for you. I think it just stands out. Now, if you like uniformity and cartoon accuracy and you're just looking for that, you know, just show me what it looks like in the cartoon, Fans Toys is going to kind of meet your need. Either of these really can't go wrong. They're both really nice figures. For my personal collection, for my personal taste, the Fans Toys is really what I prefer. But I definitely appreciate and see the value and the quality in this figure. So there you go for this comparison. Hopefully it helped you make a decision for yourself. That's really it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.